Welcome to this beginner UEFN tutorial. This is going to be covering quite a couple of puzzles that are usually found inside of death runs. So let's get started. So let's go ahead into UEFN and open up a new project. We're going to call this one Escape Room Death Run. No, I'm very tired. Sorry guys. Escape Room YouTube tutorial. We're going to choose the blank island template as well. And let's just go and get it started. So, I don't know your experience level. This is going to be catered to everyone. So, we're going to do this in order of the video that I watched. They had all these, and we're going to incorporate all these. Now that we're in the game, we're going to go and set up everything that we're going to need. First of all, let's put down a trigger. We are going to go and create a new folder as well and just call this one game stuff. So to do a new folder, I went into Outliner and I right clicked and I pressed folder, and we're just going to go and make this current. We're going to go and put down a trigger, and so type in trigger in here and then go choose your trigger. We're going to call this one trigger stage completed. We're also going to go and make a tracker next. Drag on the tracker. With this tracker, we're going to call this one tracker stage completed. I'm calling these stages, of course, but you could call it rooms. It doesn't really matter. Inside of our tracker, we're going to go and change it to events. And we are going to go and assign. Let's have it assign when they spawn, actually. Assign on game start, that's fine. What we're going to do is have increment progress value. Increment progress when receiving trigger stage completed. So every time this trigger triggers, we're going to have a tracker to increment. So it will say 0 rooms completed, 1 room completed, 2 rooms completed. Just going to call this one rooms completed, and we will have nothing inside of these. If you want to learn about custom widgets, I have video tutorials on those. I don't think we're going to do it in here. Actually, we are going to do it in here. This will be fast, so feel free to slow me down or watch the longer tutorial. Create a new folder. Let's call it widgets. We're going to open up the folder widgets. Right click onto the background, user interface, widget blueprint, user widget. We're going to call this one widget blueprint underscore tracker rooms. Call it whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to show how to do some stuff. When this opens, I'm going to be 50 years old. Maybe it's already open and I'm blind. Alright. For whatever reason I can't see it, I'm going to close and reopen it. I think that I'm getting trolled. We're literally getting trolled right now. Yeah, so I have no clue why it's not letting me open it. Guys, so actually you're going to have to follow the tutorial on my other videos. Or just use the default one. And you can choose your icons. Just put like a room. A mushroom. Fuck it. Put a mushroom. Cool. Change the color here as well. Next up, we're going to set up a HUD message as well. HUD message device this is how we're going to display stuff on the screen. What we're going to do with this, we're going to call this HUD message device stage complete. We're going to have this to show to triggering player only. And we're just going to say room completed. Again, we would create a widget for this, but it seems that they're not working. We can try again, of course. So then let's just call this one stage complete. So neither of them want to open for me. Unless they're on my other screen. You just have to watch the videos for how to do those if you want custom UI. but I have videos on them. I'll link them all in the description. We're going to have this stage complete to show when trigger stage completed. And then lastly, with this stage completed trigger, we're going to add an accolade. An accolade is how Fortnite gifts you XP. It does need calibration to work, which means you need to have a certain amount of players within an update to be awarding XP. We can put in some names and descriptions that will be shown to the player here, so you could just write room completed, whatever you want to write in here, accolade stage. Should this be given to everyone or just the player? Depends what you want to do, to be honest. If you're going to give it to everyone, then I'd put it on really small, but we'll just keep it on medium, and you only get XP when you complete the room. Next up, we're going to set it to award when trigger stage completed. So we can see that whenever a player is now going to complete a room, they're going to get an incremented tracker, which is what shows up in the top left. If XP works, they're going to get XP, and they're going to get a message on the screen saying they completed the room. That is essentially all we need for the gameplay logic. So let's go and clear current folder, so we're no longer putting that stuff in here, and we're going to start making rooms. Following this guideline, we're going to do it in this order. So jump through ceiling with a cinematic. My goal here is not design, so you will have to bear with it. It's not minimalistic, but it's more so a tutorial purpose room. So I don't know what I'm saying, but you get what I mean, I'm sure. So this is where the players are going to spawn in on these spawn pads. You can have as many spawn pads as you want. I'd say that you should put in whatever your intended player limit is. So we could put like 8 here or 16, however many you want to have. You just put in your spawn room. So to go through and make a, what was it called? A jump through ceiling cinematic. Or maybe they did just use a vent. Can't entirely tell, to be honest. But we'll just do it with a cinematic. It'll be good to teach these things. Let's grab a button. Ooh, that went really far into the distance. It's ignoring the collision of my walls when I'm placing stuff. That's a bit annoying. So place down a button and turn off visible in game and increase the interaction radius. This blue circle is where you can see the prompt to interact. We can change the text here. By default it says interact. You can make it say open, for example, and we'll just call this one button room 1. They had a ceiling in their video. Can I not spell? I don't think so. So in the video they actually had a ceiling that they could jump through. We will just make it so that we can jump through this panel by moving it. So when they look here, they're gonna get a thing, interaction pop up on their HUD that says, do they want to open it? How we will open this is with a cinematic sequence device. If your icons and stuff disappear from your screen, press G. This will allow for you to toggle game mode, which is essentially what you will see in game. Cool. Now that we have a cinematic device, we need to create a level sequence. But I'm going to name this cinematic device first. Open room 1. Let's create a new folder and call this one level sequences. Call it cinematics. It's all the same. Just whatever you like naming these kind of things. What we're going to look for in here is level sequence. We're going to just call this level sequence underscore open room 1. Open it up, and what we're going to do is press G so I can just see this tile that I want to select. We're going to add actor to track, and we can press this thing here. This works because I've already selected it, so it put it into the cinematic. To change how this moves, we need to add a transform track. So let's click this add icon, and we're going to keyframe, which is this little dot here. So click on add keyframe, and then for example, move to, this is in 30 FPS, so this is half a second, this is a second, half a second, second. So say we want it to take 1 second, we will move it to the right, that's the left, but it's the same thing. If you don't want it to move in such ways where it has cell snap, which is where it moves per grid, essentially, you can disable this cell snapping in the top left. So I'm going to have it open in a second, and then I'm going to create another keyframe at 120. So this means it's going to open for 1 second. It's going to stay open for 3 seconds, and then it will close itself back afterwards. So let's move it back. And now we have our first cinematic that we've ever created. Very good, guys. One thing that we can change though, if you don't like how it moves, you can right click on these little dots and you can change it to linear, for example. Right now by default it's on cubic, which is slow at the start and slow at the end. I'll see if you can see the difference. It doesn't really matter, it's the same thing, but linear is so it's the same speed all the way through. It's preference. You can play around with these kind of things. It's all up to you, really. So let's close the sequencer and reopen our cinematic device. Now we can choose level sequence room 1, and we want this to play for everybody. Restore state we're going to put on for finished state completion, and we're going to have this to play when interacted with the button, this button. So I clicked on this pipette so that I could click on the actor in the game space. You can just type it in here as well, like button room 1 for example, but I like doing it with a pipette. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. You should be saving very regularly too. Your game could crash at any moment. And also be checking in changes. So you click checking changes down here and then you type in a meaningful description so you can revert and know what you're reverting to. So I could write, created the room 1 mechanic. I'm not going to check in changes. If this crashes, then you're getting half a tutorial. Nah, I'll just remake the video. Next up, find an item, then throw it in the glass. So then, we're going to create the next area. Let's just paste all this stuff. To click multiple things at once, you hold down Control, the bottom left key, and you just click. So I can now click multiple things at once. And copy and paste is Control C and Control V. Fantastic. But we need to know that the room's actually completed. So let's go and add in a player checkpoint pad. This is what is often used by the people that make difference. You can have this visible if you want, but the thing that we need to pay attention to here is this on first activation per player, because this is how we're going to track the rooms. So if you remember this tracker that we put down before, this trigger, we're going to have this to trigger from player checkpoint pads on first activation per player. So every single time a player steps on this for the first time, they will get this stage complete message. But continuing on to the find an item, then throw it at the glass. We're going to use something called an item placer for this. That's what they had in the video. And we can fill in this with anything. We're going to find a throwable object for us. I don't know what they used in the video, but I think coal does damage. So we can use a lump of coal. And for example, they threw it at glass. You could do glass, of course. Let me see. Is glass even in here anywhere? Now, I'm not sure the exact method that they did this, but I'm going to show you when I want to show you. Is it a device, perhaps? No. So I could use this solid glass wall, for example. And I'm going to go and do this with a cinematic, but I don't even think you need to use a cinematic. What we're going to do here is the prop manipulator. We're going to do a prop manipulator instead of cinematic actually. So let's add the prop manipulator to this glass. And we're going to have it to hide when prop manipulator is damaged. Cool. But we're going to need to change its health as well. The reason why we want to change its health is so that it doesn't really ever die. This prop, we'll just put its health up that high. It'll work. And we're going to have this to show props when first player per activation on this checkpoint pad. This is just so that it resets itself each time somebody comes through. Inside of your coal, which ours seems to have gone, that is no good. Did I delete it? No. I hit it some point, apparently. We need to have enable respawn on this because we want them to be able to pick this up, multiple people to pick this up. So let's go ahead and have allow respawn time on. There we go. So now they can pick up this and throw it at here, and it will break, and they can go through, and the next person that comes will have to do that again. Next up, we have finding a card and then putting it in a conditional button. Let me duplicate this into a new room. I'm not going to show you how to hide stuff. I'm going to just assume you can. I'm going to leave the level design up to you guys. You guys are good level designers, I'm sure. We're going to actually use a door here. I think a door would work well. This could be cool. So we're going to find a door with a flipping door on it. So we have this now, which is cool and all. But it's not locked yet. We need to turn this into a lock with a key card. So we're going to use the same thing as before. We're going to use an item placer. And we're going to go put a key card in here. You can put any item in, but in the video they used a key card. So here's a key card on the floor. We are going to go and find a lock device and place this on the door. By default it's locked, which is what we want. And we want it to have a conditional button. A conditional button is something that sees whether you have the item that is placed inside of it. So for key item 1, we can go and open this up and type in keycard or whichever item you put in here. And we are going to unlock the door. Or no, we're going to open the door. We won't unlock it. We will open the door when receiving from conditional button on activated. This means if they have this card, it will take it from them and open the door and let them through. Like before, we're going to need to relock the door. So let's go and copy paste our checkpoint pad into the next room. And we will actually need to go and trigger the first activation per player each time, which is obviously annoying. But you can just do this all at the end, to be honest. And that will all work well. But here, for example, obviously do it again. And we would have this lock device to lock when they reach the next checkpoint. Sorry, not lock, close. We'd have this to close again when they're on the next checkpoint. On first activation per player. So that everyone gets to play the game. No matter when they joined, right? Let's find out what's next. Glass bridge tutorial. This one's easy too. So let's go and make a glass bridge. This is done in, or this is done with anything. You could use anything. But for me, instead of glass, we're going to use wood. Wooden plank. Nope. Whatever. I'm going to go ahead and turn off cell snap and copy paste this tile and make it tiny whiny. And this will work as our glass bridge. Not sure where we left off, but let's go ahead and duplicate this. One for each side. And we can just go and copy paste this along to function as our glass bridge. We will need the player to die if they fall down here. Let's go ahead and copy paste all these. I'm going to re-enable cell snap so that it goes where I want it. And we're going to add a damage volume into this pit. In this damage volume, I'm going to change the size of it so it fits how I want it. And we will set it to, instead of damage, we'll have it to eliminate. So if they fall in the pit, they die, which is the whole point of glass bridge. With these panels, we want to choose which ones will be the fake panels, and we're going to actually have no collision enabled. You could have it so that they break with cinematics. This is just a more simple way. It's much less effort, but to do it with cinematics instead, you would, for example, I'll show you. You would have a trigger here and use a cinematic to make this fall down if they step on it. Kind of similar to how we use the button here to make this move. You would have this as a new cinematic, a new level sequence, and you'd have it fall down, or you could do anything. But for us, we're just going to select the ones that we want to be fake glass bridges, and we're going to click on them and type in collision, and we're going to have no collision enabled. It looks like I already did it. Fantastic. My throat. This is my third video I'm recording today. My throat is not used to all this talking. And of course, a new player checkpoint pad. Next up on our video list, on our tutorial list, we're going to have a button that make water go high so they can reach a high checkpoint. So let's do that. So by default, they're not going to be able to reach 3 high up or 4 high up, whatever. Oh yeah, that's 3. So they're going to need to use some water. We're going to be using the cinematic here like we have been with the other stuff. We can add a button. We can have this a trigger. We can have this from anything. But we're going to use our button to set this up. So on button pressed, we'll call this one button waterizer. And we will need a cinematic device for this too. In this cinematic device, we need to make a new level sequence. Let's go ahead and make this play from button waterizer, and we can have it on restore state 2. Let's go into our level sequences folder and create a new level sequence. Level sequence underscore waterizer. We are going to need to actually close the sequence for a second. We haven't even added the water device. So type in water device, and we can just throw this here. About there, looks good. We would have this somewhere out of sight or whatever. Have this to the correct height that you're going to need it. So obviously for us, we got it 3 height, so we'll set it to 3. You can figure out what's correct for you. I think you could do it with these vertical emptying and stuff like that. But instead, I'm just going to set it up with a cinematic. So in our waterizer level sequence, we can go click back into that real quick, and we're going to click onto our water zone and add a transform track. Remember keyframes from before? We'll do the same thing here. We're going to rise it to the top to about here. To move these arrows away from where you're doing it, hold down Alt and middle mouse click. This way you can drag it from wherever you want. This is a pretty useful tip, I think. So water will rise pretty swiftly. So we could do that slower, for sure. We could make that like 2 seconds, for example. And then to make your cinematic longer, you can drag this red line. So ours is 2 seconds long to the rise. We can make a new keyframe so it can stay up for a while. And then we can have it just go down in 1 second because why not? Cool. And then also a new keyframe. So it goes up, stays there for a couple seconds, goes down. That's exactly what we want. Let's move on to the next one, which is walking through walls. This is the same way we did glass bridge. But to walk through a wall, we just need to have no collision on. So now that no collision's on this, we can walk through this. You can do this with props as well. So, for example, if I had a wardrobe, for example, I'll just show in here real quick. if I wanted them to walk through this, I'd turn on no collision on this. So you can do that with some cool ideas with that. Passcode. This is gonna require downloading verse code. I might have it in my Discord. I have the pin pad code in my Discord. You can download it here. This is for free. It's by Maestro Stark. I also have a paid version, which is pretty cool too. I'm going to add my paid version, but it works the exact same way. So to import a code, you can just copy and paste it in. So you go into Show and Explorer on the name of your file. And we just paste it into the content folder, which we're already in. So I'm going to do that real quick. So I'm going to go copy my pinpad code. And I'm going to go paste that into here. This is my paid version. It's the same stuff though. You guys could set this up easily yourself too. And we press launch verse, compile verse. And we see we have my pinpad widget. I'm just going to drag this down. This will be the same as the Maestro Shark one, except this one has a core UI. It's the only difference. So we need to have a show trigger. This is available in my Patreon, by the way, link in the description too. Trigger show pin pad. And we would also link that up. And we would have to add in a passcode. For example, I wanted 123. And then we'd have a success trigger too. Trigger success. There we go. And then we actually need to make another trigger as well. Trigger success, we'll just put this one main. And then we'll just call this one trigger success code 1. It's the same stuff. But we can add a failed trigger as well. Fuck it. This is just so that the animations play. I animated it to make it look cool. And that should be that. I won't need the hide trigger because it will hide itself. Cool. So now we add in a button. This was our no collision wall, right? I think so. We could have whatever to happen. You could link up any of these rooms with a pin pad, or make a cinematic play, or unlock a door. All this stuff we've already taught during this tutorial. So you guys are smart enough to try and figure that out yourself, and I know that you can do it. But we're gonna go add a button here, and we're just gonna call this one button pin pad, and we're gonna go into this trigger show pin pad and have it to trigger when the button's pressed. So now they're gonna need to put in the password 123 to get the success trigger, and that will allow them to do whatever we chose for them to do. For us, I think we'll just have it linked to unlock door, like what we did before. Great. I'm going to remove this close from that checkpoint, seeing as we no longer need it. But I will add in a new one that will reclose it. So when somebody walks through, this will close from this one. Next up, walking across a bridge with a damage beam. I think you guys could figure it out, but I guess I did say I'm gonna show you how to do it. So let's go ahead and drag this across and do 3 or 1, whatever. So they have to walk across this beam. And 4, we're using cinematics. I'm only going to just add in 1, but you could add in multiple for this. We're going to call this one damage bridge. Go into our level sequence folder and we'll create a new folder called level sequence damage bridge. Fantastic. Choose damage bridge in our cinematic, and we can have this to just be play on looping and autoplay. It can cause some issues, so if you don't want to do that, then you can have it to play when they go on that checkpoint instead. But inside of here, we would need to add in a damage volume. Let's go and copy paste this one, and some kind of prop that indicates they're gonna get damaged, right? So I could just have a big wall, and we can actually, to save us animating all this, our damaging prop, we can right click on it inside of outline it in the top right, and we can attach it to by clicking this puppet, and it's saying it's incompatible. So we attach the wall to the damage volume. So now when we move the damage volume, the wall will move with it. So that means inside of this damage bridge cinematic, we don't need to animate both of them. We just need to animate the damage volume. So add the damage volume, choose transform, and same process as before. I'm sure you guys are getting the hang of it now. And just like that. So if this hits them, they die. Nice, right? What's the next up on our list? Problematic to fit through small hole. So this will be done with the item placer too. Or you could use the item granter, to be honest, as well. But I just want to quickly show this off. So we're going to use an item placer, and we're going to add in a problematic. This will allow us to transform into other things. Remember that we need to set up stuff like allow respawn and 3 seconds, whatever works for you. Obviously our player cannot fit under this hole, so let's go and add can. It's really frustrating me how it's not detecting collision of stuff, it's just placing it on the ground level floor. Nonetheless, we have this tin can that we will be able to transform into using this, and we will be able to go through here. So then we should also remove that from their inventory as well. So we can use the item remover, and we can add into the item remover device the problematic. This just will remove it from the player when we're going to link this up real quick. I'm going to hit a save. I'm noticing a bit of. So we're going to remove this from the player when they go on the checkpoint. And lastly, that was it apparently. Hopefully this was helpful. You should know how to make this now. That should be everything you need, to be honest. So subscribe to the channel. Buy my Patreon shit. Join Discord and use creator code GISMO in the Fortnite item store.